Welcome back. The National Science Foundation says the average person has about 12,000 to 60,000 thoughts a day. And get this, 80% of our thoughts are negative. So what are the consequences of that, and how can we speak to ourselves more kindly? Katie Horwitch is a mindset coach and an advocate against negative self-talk. She gives women tips, tools, and motivation to shift the way they think. And this is her new book. It's called Want Yourself, Shift Your Self-Talk and Unearth the Strength in Who You Were All Along, which I love. Katie, it's so great to meet you, but looking at you and knowing how beautiful you are, I know your fitness background and a lot about your resume, people are going to say there's no way she talks negatively to herself.
Oh my gosh. I mean, first of all, I feel like I don't know anybody who has never struggled even a little bit with negative self-talk. I remember growing up with a lot of confidence, but I also grew up in a time where confidence was really synonymous with narcissism and vanity. And that led to a lot of mental health issues, eating and body related disorders that ultimately made me realize that I had picked up this language, this negative self-talk throughout my life.
It's really, I think it's so true. I was just watching the Today Show even earlier this morning, and Monica Lewinsky was on talking about a new campaign that she has where people are supposed to read out loud the things they say to themselves, to someone they love and know. And they struggled so much to say these negative things to someone else. And the point was, well, then how can you say it to yourself? If you struggle that much to tell someone else what you're thinking in your head, how can you say it to yourself?
Yeah, I mean, that's such a quintessential piece of advice when it comes to shifting our negative self-talk, right? Like, if you wouldn't say it to a friend, why would you say it to yourself? But really, I think of self-talk more along the lines of a language that we learn, a language that we become fluent in. So a lot of times we will think that we should know better. We know not to say horrible things to ourselves or think these horrible things. And then we have sort of the feelings, and then the feelings about the feelings that we're having that can lead us into this negative self-talk spiral that can feel really, really hard, near impossible to get out of.
Yeah. What inspired you to write this book?
Yeah. So like I said, I grew up with a lot of confidence, but the lens through which I viewed that confidence was all scratchy and blurred. And when I was a child, up until my teen years, young adult years in my 20s, I struggled with mental illnesses, eating and body related disorders. And I realized that I needed to look beyond what maybe I was seeing on the outside or hearing from the outside and figure out where all of this was stemming from. So do you remember in the early 2000s, do you remember the first Dove Real Bodies commercial?
Absolutely.
Do you remember that?
Yes.
Yes. So that commercial, I mean, we sort of take for granted now this mental health conversation that is so robust in 2023. That commercial in 2007 was revolutionary. And I saw that and had two thoughts at the same time. One was, this is incredible. Like, we're allowed to say these things to ourselves, that we love ourselves, that we're amazing. And then I also thought, well, I'm not someone who has necessarily been able to look in the mirror and tell myself, I love myself, I'm amazing. So where are the tips and tools and sort of the blueprint for people like me? And that's what led me to start my platform, WANT, which stands for Women Against Negative Talk, which ultimately led me to writing the book that you get to hold in your hands today.
I love it. I love seeing you here too in this video. The energy that you have, the positivity that you bring to it. I'd love for you to explain the difference between self and talk, because this is something I really never thought about until I was preparing to interview you today.
Yeah, so I think of self-talk as a two-part equation. There's the self and there's the talk. A lot of people will skip straight to the talk part of the equation, right? So we're going to take something that is maybe mean that we're thinking or saying to ourselves, and we are going to plaster on a positive affirmation over that. Now, I I love an affirmation. It's a tool that is useful for some people sometimes. However, it is a tool, not necessarily a robust toolkit. And so in order to shift what is actually behind those things that we're thinking and saying and feeling, we've got to look beyond the talk, which is symptomatic, and go to the self that's underneath it all, that is going to give us some really good information on where that talk is stemming from in the first place.
I love that. We're running out of time, so I'm going to skip ahead to this last question. Your book is out today, which is fantastic. Yes. Where can people find it? Where can they find more information about you? Because we just kind of scratched the surface of this, and I'd like to leave people with something where they can do a little bit more work and really get to shifting their mindsets.
Yes, no, thank you so much. I'm so thrilled that this book is out there in the world. They can find me at katiehorwitch.com. They can find the book at wantyourself.com. I am on social media at Katie Horwitch. And actually, if they go to wantyourself.com, there's a worksheet that they can download if they order the book that can sort of help people get into the mindset to start to do this work that is complicated and nuanced and ultimately is so worth it.
I love it. It was great to meet you. Thank you so much for joining us today, and congratulations on this book and all the work that you've done.
Thank you so much. It was so meaningful to kick off my day with you.
Oh, I love that. Thank you. And I want to remind everybody, here again is Katie Horwich's book. It is called Want Yourself. Shift your self-talk and unearth the strength in who you were all along. And you can find it on the website wantyourself.com.